Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Rubber Match. Take that again. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Rubber Match. I am your host, Seth Weber. With me always, my hetero life mate, Brian Freeland. I cannot talk today.
The Rubber Match.
Yep. So after
a show about condoms, using condoms.
Yes. That's what it's secretly about. They don't know. We've got a huge Trojan sponsorship.
That's right.
I'm
not bagging them. I mean, I can't speak for you, but
yeah. No, definitely not. So the last episode, we tried pulling the goalie, and that worked and it didn't work. You got your first win.
It really does sound like we're talking about condoms now. Pulling the goalie?
A little bit. Yeah.
What's happening here? What has this become? But it didn't work.
It did work.
Well, I mean, it worked for me. Yeah, it worked too well.
Yeah, we didn't get our rubber match though, but we did. No. You did get your first show win. Something I messaged you this past week since I've been editing other past episodes, and I realized that I'm always team 1 and you're always team 2, which means that you're always attacking the bottom goal.
Right.
2 of the 3 periods where I'm going up, which may be a little bit easier. I think new hockey games have kind of fixed that, and so I don't think there's much couch play anymore. So the online play, you're always going up, which is interesting. It's just the way they render it on people's screens. But anyway, we're going to give this a shot and see how this works. And if not, then we'll go back to pulling the keeper, and or maybe it's a combination of the two, and give you a few goals head start, 3 or 4, and then we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Yeah, I think we talked about 3. 3 might be fair, but let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like I've it's been 2 weeks since we recorded last.
Yeah.
And
holy shit.
And I feel like I've been playing more games than I've been watching things.
Same.
Yeah, I did watch one thing that I don't know if you're hip to, but it kind of feels a little bit up your alley, and it's called the Princess.
Okay.
It's on Hulu. It's one of those movies. It came out about the same time as Prey did.
Okay.
And it's the pitch I would have for it is if it would be if Luc Besson directed video game movies, I guess.
Okay.
Oof.
Good Luc
so
Besson,
it's not based on a video game, but it's probably the most video gamey movie that I've seen. It kind of has a bit of a Dread, Raid type feel to it.
Oh,
so
okay.
the premise is that this princess wakes up at the top of a tower in her castle, and she's chained, and she's a redhead, and she's probably in her 20s.
All right.
And these 2 guards come in, and they're she's supposed to be sleeping still, and she's fit to be married to somebody. And she basically kicks the 2 guards' asses, and then starts to make her way down the tower of this castle that's been besieged by this guy who's trying to take the throne.
Okay.
He was supposed to marry her, but she kind of stood him up, and because she didn't want to play that role, and so she's going down this tower.
Damn it.
While she's fighting all of these dudes.
Okay.
But it has there's moments that where you're oh, that would be a cutscene in a game where there's dialogue or a flashback or something, and then there's just a crazy amount of action while she's fighting all these dudes hiding in the castle, trying to make sure she doesn't get caught. And the bad guy's played by Dominic Cooper from Preacher.
Okay. All right.
It's not bad.
It's
a fun.
That's a show I haven't watched yet.
It's sort of a fun little. I don't know. It's not great, but it's also not. It's not the worst way to spend an hour and a half. Yeah.
Okay. The fight scenes, are they decent?
Yeah, they're not bad. There's some of them are really good. And there's enough difference, but it's sort of like middle agey. So there's a lot of sword play, but then there's also they never really explain sort of where they're from, but I guess it's kind of, there's like a Chinese guy and his student at the castle from like some far off land. Nice. And so she's the one that had been training the princess, and so there's a little bit of little martial arts versus Middle Ages mixture. I don't know. It's interesting, and I'd been seeing the trailers for it on Hulu, and I was like, I'm gonna give that a try. It's not bad. Not bad.
Do you have a favorite action movie starring a woman? Did I say that right? I'm trying to be not PC, but sensitive. I'm trying to use the right.
Yeah. Let's see. That's a good question. I'm trying to
favorite action movie where the main is.
I mean, would
I don't know
would
why
you?
I made it awkward.
I mean, I know that.
God damn.
I know it's Mad Max Fury Road, but I feel like Furiosa is the lead of that movie. I mean, maybe they're kind of co-leads.
I would say co-leads. I think maybe she has more of an emotional arc to the story than he does.
Yeah.
So I think she's the emotional anchor.
Yeah.
Which is funny because my probably number one is also Charlize Theron, Atomic Blonde.
Mm.
Have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
Oh, that's a good film.
Yeah.
I really like it. I've when I was buying movies, I thought I got, it was either Mad Max Fury Road or Atomic Blonde. I think there was a point in time where I can't buy both, but I have a new job right now, and maybe I can. But it was Fury Road first for me. It was that was a must-have. And I kind of want the black
Blood and
chrome.
Chrome. Yeah,
Blood and Chrome.
I got that. I got that on iTunes. It was on sale one day for super cheap, and I got that one. It's good. It's good.
Yep.
It's interesting.
Is it silent?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Something still was silent. I was like,
No, they just strip the color out of it.
Sure. No.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Furiosa. I like Anya Taylor-Joy. I wish they would have kept Charlize Theron, but I understand why.
But it's also earlier in her story, right? When she's younger.
Yeah. Yes. I want to see. That's why I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see 3,000 Years of Longing.
I do too.
Nice.
Yeah, I do too. It seems like I feel like at his age right now he's in a full I don't give a fuck, I'm going to make the shit that I want to make.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter what that is, and I'm kind of here for it. Because I think we will only have him for a certain amount of time, and I think we will gravely miss him when he's gone.
Absolutely.
It also kind of feels like there was another movie. There was a movie that I feel like isn't talked about much, and it was directed by the guy who made The Cell, Tarsum Singh, I think was his name. But it's called The Fall.
I've seen The Fall. Yeah.
Yeah, and his 3,000 Years of Longing kind of gives me a little bit of The Fall vibes.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Not to that extent, because that movie is visually it's up there with one of the most like beautifully, like I can't believe this is real.
Yeah.
Cinematography I've ever seen in a movie.
Right.
But there's something about it just kind of gives me those kind of vibes.
Huh. I'm curious. I was like, do I want to go see this in theaters? I was like, I think I can wait. I think I can wait on this one. I think
Speaking of things that are coming out to the theaters and have the woman playing Furiosa, the Super Mario trailer. Did you see that?
I did not. All I've heard was people are saying something against his Mario voice. I've heard about
weird.
Mario voice, weird Mario voice, and Mario butt.
Yeah.
That
was from the poster, which like shows Mario from behind, like looking at this sort of like I don't know, vertical version of like a Mushroom City. And he has zero butt, which I'm not really super concerned with the way they portray Mario's butt. That's something I don't really need to think about.
Right.
There's enough stuff on the internet that if that's what you need, you can find it. But the trailer is interesting because it's like it's got a good mix of comedy, and Jack Black as Bowser looks freaking amazing.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I'm down for that.
But then Mario shows up, and I get having a name in there. And I get why you'd want someone as sort of vanilla as Pratt. I mean, like he parodied it in the Lego Movie, but he's playing that same, not exactly that type of character, but kind of that type of character.
Okay. I never saw the Lego Movie. Wait, I did.
It's really good.
Wait, I saw the first one. Is it there are two of them?
There are two of them.
I saw the first one.
I haven't seen the second one either. But yeah, the trailer doesn't give enough to like know what kind of voice he's doing, but it sounds to me, in the little bit that he does say, he's definitely not doing the voice that everybody knows as Mario, which makes sense because I don't think that would like
culturally
that, and it can't like you can't possibly last an hour and a half with that voice. Like
right,
that's a small burst voice. You don't sit on that. So I think he's doing like a kind of a Brooklyn accent, I think is what it'll end up being.
Okay.
Which I don't think is far off from like where Bob Hoskins was at for the live action one.
I think I've seen only parts of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought Bob Hoskins was still doing Cockney, but I just hear about who was that? Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo?
Yep.
Oh shit! Well, that's a movie.
And Dennis Hopper as Bowser.
Yeah, right.
Spiky hair. It's crazy.
Yeah. So what games have you been playing?
I've been playing. There was a game that came out on Xbox.
Damn it, mother!
A while ago that I had watched the Penny Arcade guys play. It's called Tunic, and it just recently came out for Switch, and I think it came out on PlayStation 4 and 5 as well. But it's kind of it plays a bit like old school Zelda. Oh, what a block that was!
I know.
It plays a bit like old school Zelda. So it's sort of like an isometric view, and you play as this like little fox, and you're there are enemies you need to defeat with your sword, and there's stuff you need to some puzzle stuff and that. But the real like interesting point of it is there are pieces in the world that you pick up of the instruction manual for the game.
Huh.
And they have writing in them as if like it was like a book for like a Nintendo game that like someone had written notes in. But it's not in English, so it's in like it's just in a language they made up, like that you could decipher if you wanted to. but there's enough like context clues for you to kind of figure out what it says. And so it has this sort of like import feel to it. Like if you were to like buy a game from like Japan and like it came with an instruction book and you're like, I don't know, I can't read this, but I can kind of infer what it is I'm supposed to do.
Like every IKEA manual.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Yeah. So like that element of it makes it really interesting, and it just feels really good, and it's very snappy, and it's got a little bit of Souls gameplay in it. Like it's tough, like it's a tough game, but it looks really cute. Like the graphics are like the worlds are very cute. But I've been waiting for it to come out on something that I owned. And I got it for the Switch, and it runs okay. It's a little fuzzy. Like I think on the PS4 or PS5, it'd look a lot better, but it still plays really well. And I like the portability of being able to play it on the Switch. So yeah, I've been playing that.
Okay, I need I'm gonna need a Switch game because I'm flying out to Seattle for Christmas, and
yeah. I think you would dig it. And I know that you're deep in Souls territory now, huh?
Holy shit! So, I never played any of the Souls games, with the exception of Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, which I quit pretty early on in the game twice. It was
so hard.
It was just punishing. And like those are games that really operate on timing for like sidestepping and parrying, and then when you die, like you go back to a save point, but you got to go through all of like the characters to get to that boss. And I was like, I'm just like, this is just not how I want to spend my time.
Yeah.
Like I just
you want to stay Boston, or you want to try Tampa Bay on that?
I'll try Tampa Bay.
Okay.
So yeah. Now I was looking forward to Elden Ring, and then when I found out it was from Software game, I was like, oh, I don't think I have a good track record with these games, but I was drawn to the fact that George R. R. Martin helped write part of the story with Miyazaki, the creator, and I was okay. Wait a second, and I did read that this is a little bit more forgiving of a game than the Elden Ring, than the other games had been. I was like, okay, I think I'll try it out. And visually, I was like, I love a good open world game. I've been playing a lot of open world games recently, and I find them relaxing because I have a 3-year-old. I don't get out that much. Holy, how is that even done? So, I was looking forward to it. But because I haven't gotten deep in these kinds of games before, and because it was like an RPG style, like it's not like an official RPG, because like Final Fantasy VII, you had the like you would actually hit a button at a certain time, and it would act like a dice. It would be like a wheel, and that would give you like a plus 16 for dexterity, or plus 20 for strength, or it might take something away. I mean, that's what I assume an RPG. Oh, that was a good pass. That's what I assume an RPG game would be. But this is like the style where you, instead of having a skill tree, I love a good skill tree. It's you get so many runes. I think in the Souls game, they're souls, and you use those to to level up your character. So depending on the type of character. So depending on the type of character you want. Like if you want like a warrior class and someone to do like a lot of melee, then you're going to do like a lot of strength, right? Because you're going to go with battle axe. And then if you're going to do some sort of like sorcerer or a caster, then you want like high end like magic, and they call it like arcane or faith or whatever. But what I find is because there are 238 bosses in the game. I've been playing for 18 hours, and normally, like in the biggest games I've played, like Breath of the Wild or otherwise, like I've typically led around like 60 hours. I was like, oh, I should be like third of the way through. I think right now that I am not even a fifth of the way through. I have no idea. I think it's all right. I'm good. I got a 3-point lead. You want to put the goalie back in?
Yeah.
Okay. So, because the world is so vast, and because there's like so much like lingo I don't know as far as like scaling and stats and build and all the stuff that I'm learning. I've never used it before, but I'm getting into farming as a type of gameplay.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm like,
there's a lot of games to scratch that itch.
Yeah, and so I'm, not only am I on like a couple different websites to kind of cross-reference where things are and how to get them, but I'm like watching like YouTube videos, and I'm like learning how other people have used kind of hacks and farming and techniques and whatnot to build up their stats and their strengths. Yeah, it's I have a spreadsheet, and then I always have like
that's all you had to say.
Yeah, I have a spreadsheet open, and then I always have like 4 or 5 tabs open where I'm like consulting things and looking at builds and seeing how other people have done things. But yeah, so the spreadsheet has a couple different sheets on it depending on like weapons builds and armor builds and stats builds and where dungeons are, where mini dungeons are, mini bosses and big bosses and storylines and fetch quests and
interesting.
It's like so that's what I do at night instead of my dissertation.
I think then you would probably really like Tunic, because Tunic is like a game that begs for you to have a notebook. Just to keep notes on things and to like try to like if you wanted to try to decipher that language, which I think you could. Like I think you could figure out enough of the symbols to actually decipher it. It's interesting. I've never really gotten into the Souls games either. I don't think I've actually ever played them. I just remember playing the Ninja Gaiden game for PS3, and that one was touted as being like insanely hard, and I agreed with it, and it wasn't fun, and so I didn't play it. And I think the only other game that I've played that I think falls into that criteria is sort of Fallen Order.
Remind me of Fallen Order?
Jedi Knight Fallen Order.
The Jedi game. Yeah. Okay. So that's a game that I really, I really like. But that's more of that has a skill tree. Right? Yeah. What's interesting about that game is nice. That there are you go back to the same worlds and access different parts of those worlds depending on what your character is able to do, which is interesting. Sometimes I found it to be with some of those worlds maybe a little bit tedious. If you hadn't opened up the stuff, it's like, where am I going? The map is kind of difficult to follow in Fallen Order. I liked it. It was different, but it was like, where am I and how do I get back over there? And it's not always immediately obvious. But Am I enjoying it? Yeah, I am. I think that I don't know if I would normally do farming, but I'm kind of justifying it to myself by saying like these are games that are like notoriously difficult, and I need, in order for me to stay with it and have fun, I need an edge.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to do this like the way some seasoned Souls players have played. I don't know. It's from, after this game, I might be inclined to check out some of the other ones. I don't know if I'll give Sekiro a chance, but
I mean, I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be interesting because I think the other games aren't necessarily set up that same way, right? Like they're not nearly as open as Elden Ring is.
For sure. And Sekiro came out like a few months before Ghost of Tsushima, and I've played Ghost of Tsushima like 2.5 times, twice, and then I got as far along to open up the DLC side quest and play those.
Yeah.
And that's a game I really love. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm enjoying it now, and we'll be playing it. Typically, these big these big open world games will take me probably 3 weeks if I'm putting in a couple hours every night, which I am now. And
yeah.
I mean, this is going to take me at least 2 months.
Yeah.
I would like to finish before Christmas, just because I hate being in the middle of the game and then like having to leave on vacation. So if I'm still working on it at that time, I think I probably will get a backbone and just play it from play it from the road.
Yep.
Oof.
The other thing I've been playing is a VR game. Ooh, I thought you caught that.
Yeah, so did I.
It's a VR game, which is a follow-up to like a pretty big PC VR game. So there are certain games that you can only. Oh no! That hit like the sidebar and the top bar.
I know.
There are certain games that you can only play like if you have a powerful enough PC to like render the graphics.
Okay.
And this was one of them. It was called Boneworks, and it's a pretty popular PC VR game, but it came out like 3-4 years ago, and it's built around like a proprietary physics engine that the studio developed called Marrow. Or Marrow 1 or something like that. And it lets you do a lot of the things react kind of the way they should in real life, which makes the sort of VR interaction, feel pretty real. And they came out with a sequel called Bonelab that came out. It was funny because they had showed it to a YouTube channel that like covers VR gaming, and they were showing it to the guy, and they were like, "Oh, just want to let you know that like we're all done with the game." And they were like, "Great, when does it come out?" They were like, "Thursday." And they were like, "What?" Like they finished it and they released it in the same week, and I'm like, "That's unheard of." I've been playing it, and it's really interesting. Like I had not played Boneworks. And the lore of that game is complex and all over the place. And I had to watch like a pretty long YouTube video to get a sense of like what was actually happening. And I still don't really know what's happening in Bonelab, but like narratively, like it gets a lot of stick for like not having any narrative, but it's there. You just kind of have to like you have to be a bit aware of the previous stuff that happened in the other game. But what's really interesting is you go about 30 minutes into the story as you like explore. You start off and like standing over a pit, and the first thing you see is a noose drops down in front of your eyes. Nice. A noose drops down in front of your eyes, and your only interaction, the only thing you can do is put it on your neck. And so people generally got a little upset about that because trigger warnings and such.
Sure.
And I get it. It makes sense. But it's also like you're being executed. Like it's not like a self-harm thing, although like, you know, I could see like for people that have been there or had people that have been there, why that would be an issue. I thought that was going to go in like that other one. But then you like explore all these tunnels and you like end up in this like, you're like, it's very medieval looking, but then you come out of it and you're like in a kind of like not necessarily a theme park, but it's like like a kind of a VR world that is that themed, and you're like in the offices of like the company that's developed it. But then you like crash into the Bonelab hub world, which is like all of these areas that you can do just weird shit in. So there's like a experimental area, and there's a sandbox area, and then there's like a tactical shooting area, and there's a parkour area. And then a lot of people are like, this game was super short. And then there's a whole like other part to the story of the game that you have to like figure out how to access from that hub world that like continues on another couple of hours. And I'm really digging it. It's some of the best like VR shooting I've kind of experienced. And like it feels really good. Like when you put a clip in there and then like cock the gun back, whether it's a rack a shotgun or like, you know, whatever it is. They got a bunch of different gun types, but like they all feel really good to shoot. And although it just gets annoying to like have to continually, oh damn it, like run out of ammo and then have to put another clip in there and then realize that you're like out of ammo. But it's really freaking good.
And sorry, what's the game called again?
Bonelab. And it's interesting because they got it to run like on the Quest 2 without any PC link. So like that's pretty impressive because like the Quest 2 is okay, like power wise, but not like to run something like this it's pretty impressive. And like the graphics are degraded a little bit, but it still looks really good. So yeah, they did a pretty amazing job.
Cameron was on the Quest for the first time the other day.
Oh yeah,
watching the Frozen ride at Disney. Oh damn. Oof. Look at that. Oof.
32 seconds.
All right.
We used to do that. I used to do that for my daughter. We'd find a YouTube video that had like that would go through it, and then we would like set up her bike, and she would like pedal through.
Oh, fun.
Like we like put the bike and like put her training wheels like up in my shoes, so like her back wheel was off the ground, and then she could like pedal as she like went first person through Disney rides.
Oh, fun. Yeah, that's awesome.
We did it.
Wait, was this our very first rubber match?
This is our very, like we've done some for fun,
right?
But this one we both have one win.
Right.
Are you gonna keep Tampa Bay? You gotta.
I am.
Stay with the girl that brought you.
Yeah, I do now. All right.
All right. I'm pulling.
Okay.
All right. I've also been playing the last season for Echo VR just went live. Like they've been running like battle pass type seasons like Fortnite and Call of Duty and all those things do. Where you like buy the pass and then you go through tiers to like unlock stuff. And they said that they weren't going to do them anymore, so they're typically 50 levels that you go through. They made this one like 70, I think, and it runs until like I think the beginning of next year. So I'm slowly working my way through that, unlocking all that content. But I feel like I can only play that game. I was playing that game a lot, and I still like to play it, and I really want to expose more people to it because I think it's kind of an underrated game. But like, because it's free to play, the kids in that game it's rough, man.
Right.
Like it's some real shitty folks in that game sometimes.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. It's watching her on it, I was like, I think I'm probably ready to give this a chance. But yeah, it would have to be like a weekend where I'm like alone in the house because I feel like there's gonna be like some screaming.
Yes. Yep. I mean, my friend who got one, I don't experience it, but he gets like crazy motion sick in it too. And I don't know what like determines that, because like some people don't experience it at all, and I've never experienced it, but like other people will get it really, really badly.
And have you ever gotten seasick?
I don't know if I've been on a boat in like long enough to know if I'd like. I don't think I have, but I also don't think I've been in a place where I could have been.
Okay. Yeah, like I'm not like a cruise type person, but I've been on some boats out on the Chesapeake where we've some pretty big sailboats. We spent a couple hours out there, and people have. I thankfully don't. I also went to a sailing camp for a number of years in high school during the summer, so I feel like I've got my sea legs, so to speak. Then. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing, especially that game. Like to like basically fly is like a whole other sensation, especially when you add like an insane amount of speed to it.
Right.
And you're traveling like 15 to 20 meters a second. It can get pretty crazy when you slam into a wall. Like I know early on I would definitely like, oh damn it, I'd like take a step back or like brace myself. But now I'm like used to it. It still gives me a little like I have to like think about it before I do it. Like I'm gonna hit that wall, but it's not really there, so don't flinch.
Right.
But yeah, it's weird. It's definitely something you don't experience anywhere else.
Now, what is your like? I don't want to call it like time dilation, but how do you experience time when you're in it? Like, is it pretty normal, or do you ever like surprise yourself like, wow, I've been at it for a while?
There have been a couple games. There was one that's like I don't even know how to explain it. It's called what's it called? Township something. I don't remember what it is. It's not exactly Minecraft. You can't mine anything, but there's a big crafting element to this game. So there's a lot of resource gathering and resource collection and management, and like finding recipes to be able to craft with. That game can definitely, when I started playing that one, it ate up a lot. It was one of those things like Minecraft where like you can go in there and like put your list of things that you're going to do and then start working on it and then look and be like, holy shit, it's been 2 hours. I think it's the only one that I've played that I've felt that way. Everything else it's tough because you can hit your Oculus button and like check the time. But the good thing about Echo is that like the matches are a defined amount of time, like they're 5 minutes or something like that. So you generally know how much time you've spent in a match.
Sure.
But Bonelab could definitely suck time especially like when you're just playing around and just messing around in like sandbox mode or whatever. You don't have any sense of Jesus Christ.
I'll tell you, I want to take
a
weekend. I want to take a weekend and take acid and play No Man's Sky.
That would be interesting. That game is I haven't gone back to. I went back to it. I've been back to it a couple of times since it came out, and I know they put in a ton of work, and it's a completely different game now from what it was. Like they've just added so much functionality, and story, and like it's the game that they were hyping,
sure,
at the beginning, and maybe even better than what they were hyping back when it came out. It was pretty bare bones when it came out, and everybody really was upset with them for it. I thought it was still great, and I had a lot of fun with it.
Sure. Oh, that's interesting. Typically what I like to do is if I'm spending like 100 hours or something on a game like I am right now, I like to play like an indie game or two or something definitely like smaller.
Yeah.
Afterwards, or I take a break, but that's. Oof. I don't know if I could see myself playing Elden Ring and then going right into No Man's Sky.
Yeah. But no, like that's, you want to talk about open world, like that's an open universe.
Yeah.
So it's like that's on like a whole other level. Like it's just mind boggling to try to think about how any of that works, or that you could never possibly see all of it.
Oh
man.
Oh man.
Oh, are you caught up with Andor?
Wait, where am I going? Am I up or down?
You're down.
I'm down. I am not caught up with Andor. I think I am.
Okay.
Am I two? I might be 2 episodes behind.
Okay.
Yeah. The last episode I watched was the one where he met up with the crew.
Yeah.
But he was like taking the crew for the first time.
Cousin was there?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I was like,
from the bear. Yep.
Yeah. I kind of wanted him to play that same character.
I know. It was a little weird having come off of that
Richie.
to be like, oh,
right.
yeah, I want him. But he is definitely not that character. Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I'm not digging myself out of this hole. This is bad.
So I read. I'm not on Twitter that often because Twitter can just be too much for me.
Oh my God!
Yikes!
Ooh. You don't even need those goals.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Jesus. It might be Tampa Bay, Ottawa with the home reverse.
It might be.
Jesus. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, one period.
What was I talking about?
Twitter.
So I was reading on Twitter that it was like, it was for House of the Dragon. Like, why do they think like the default for like fantasy is like always like British or Welsh? Like, why can't we get like some Tennessee, Appalachia Hill people like in these worlds? And I was like, holy shit, I would absolutely watch a show where, it was still like sword and sorcery, and they had like some like Justified type accents going on.
Some moonshiners.
Yeah, for sure.
Dragon moonshiners.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rival moonshine bootleggers. They have dragons. I'd watch that show. That's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So,
God damn it.
I have
nothing here.
Here we go. So I think I have a friend who's in the hospitality business here in Boston, and he can get us Celtics tickets. And Casey and I have never been to a professional NBA game.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. So
I want.
Yeah, I think sometime probably after the new year. I think yeah, I'm gonna go see the first NBA game.
That'd be cool.
Which I'm pretty excited about. Have you been to an NBA game?
That's a good question. I think.
Oh my God! Holy shit! What the?
I feel like, oh man, why can't I? Yes, no, I did. I definitely did. I went to see the 76ers at least once, maybe it was twice, on that overnight trip thing with Brad and Aaron, like through their church.
Oh shit! Oh, right.
They would do that lock-in thing, and we would go to see a 76ers game as part of it. And then afterwards, they had this like weird like praying come to Jesus thing on the court, and you'd be like sitting there like, oh God, I don't want to, just don't call on me, or I don't want to do anything.
Oh shit! You getting 3 in the last couple minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, 76ers games I've been to. I feel like I may have gone to a Bullets game.
Okay.
Back when they were the Bullets. That'll work.
Oh, fuck.
That'll work. Thank you for that. So the wheels are coming off.
They are.
The wheels are coming off.
The girl that I walked in with was getting sloppy.
Oh, don't turn around.
Get sloppy with someone else. Like,
yeah.
Oof, all right. There we go.
Oh no! How was your defenseman that fast?
Oh my God!
I would be lucky if one of my wings was that fast. Yeah, I feel I want to say I went to a Bullets game, but I'm not 100% sure. I know
Okay.
I definitely went to like some of the stuff in Baltimore, and I know I went to an NFL game at the old Memorial Stadium before Baltimore got the Ravens. It was a preseason game to like for the NFL to like be sure that Baltimore had the fan base to support an NFL game, I guess. And so it was I think it was like Dolphins Jets or something. It was a preseason game at Memorial Stadium, and it was packed. And I remember the view not being very good because it was a baseball stadium and they were playing football in it.
Right.
I remember going to that. I remember going to some Baltimore Blast games.
Oh yeah.
Andor soccer team back in the day.
Same. So my dad, when he had his competitive jump rope team.
It's a great sentence.
Yeah. They would perform and do like shows before Blast games and some other things around Baltimore. But yeah, it was. Oh my God!
Oh,
man.
And then what hockey? We went to a hockey game. Who did we go to see?
We did Caps.
Was it Caps? Okay.
Yeah. I've seen the Caps a few times. I miss going to hockey games.
Oh, there was no goalie there. Shit.
Yeah.
No. Oh, you're gonna run that clock out. No. God.
Oh. Wow.
Damn it.
Wow. That was close.
Back-to-back show wins.
So here's what I think we should do. What do you think? Take the no goalie down. Keep the same teams.
Yeah.
I'll still be team 1, and then we drop the handicap to 2 instead of 3.
Okay. Yep.
Does that work?
Yep. I think that's the call for next show. Awesome.
Okay.
Well, we will see you all again next time on seemingly the correctly named rubber match.
Oh yeah. You nailed it.